Okay, this is Ben. This is the 103rd stanza of The Art of Peace. This stanza is interesting in that the O-sensei talks about the art of peace making room for the 8 million gods. I'll read the whole stanza in a minute, but the notion of 8 million divine expressions of existence. I want to kind of go back to a statement that was made in a prior stanza, which was, we are beings co-creating at the edge of infinity. And what that means to me is that as beings, we are participating with life, and our response to life, our response to our response, our awareness of that response, our motivations underlying our response, and then just fundamentally our awareness of what's going on. And what I think he's saying is that the internal space, what is capable inside our internal environment or outside in the world itself, is infinite. And I think what he's doing when he's saying 8 million gods is he's describing an infinite number of manifestations or an infinite number of subtle experience that is available to us at any given time. And our job, our practice, is the smooth blending with whatever shows up. And that's anything. It's not if things are good, you can blend with that. It's not if things are bad, you can blend with that. It's any and all and everything in between. I guess it's interesting that he would choose the number 8 million. 8 is a very significant number in Buddhism, the eightfold path. The eight-wheeled path, whatever you want to call it. And so I think 8 million may just be a kind of an arbitrary number for infinite variation. So let me read it to you while I have a moment. 103. The art of peace that I practice has room for each of the world's 8 million gods, and I cooperate with them all. The God of peace is very great and enjoys all that is divine and enlightened in every land. And if you think about it from the perspective of culture and the way people act and treat each other, how some cultures have different relationships towards women and minorities, and just across the board variation. And what he's saying, and what I believe and what I feel I am capable of, is the ability to interact with any culture as it is without trying to change it. And again, coming back to why you're not attempting to change anything, it's because your attempt to change something is a misunderstanding of the fact that change is taking place at its own course, and your participation is a sign of that change. To move into a space from the perspective of the art of peace is to facilitate change just by being present with what is. There's no attempt to make things one way or another, or to take control, or to fix. It is the participation itself that facilitates the change. And this, from a kind of a second tier, or the outside perspective, is real, but from the inside, from your own space, from my own participation with my own internal environment, the participation itself, the participation from the level of non-judgmental present tense awareness is the change that takes place, is the facilitation of the change. There's no need to make it happen. Make this change. Make this. This has to be the way it is. There's simply a matter of being patient with things as they are, because they are change. It is change as it is. Change is the essence of everything. So you don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything other than be present with what shows up. This is something that I'm constantly interacting with myself with. So my own personal experience is one where I'm often confronted with a situation of increased significance. So let's say the environment has been the significance of a moment has been increased due to the inclusion of money or the inclusion of responsibility, and often I'm met immediately with an internal feeling of I've got to do this now, or I've got to now I've got to change. Now I have to be this way. And I mean, I'm smiling right now because each time in the past that I have thought that, oh, no, this is different than everything else. This requires me to really take action and move forward. And so the second that happens, immediately there's the question of, well, how? Okay, so you got to take action, move forward. How do you take action? How do you move forward? Well, I've got to move forward this way. Well, why this way? Because this is the right way. Well, how do you know this is the right way? Because So immediately I run into this problem where the notion of right, this is the way it's supposed to be done, this is how I must do it, takes me away from participating with what is, allowing things to be as they are, and that through the allowance facilitating change at the pace of creation. And the notion that I myself am aware enough to dictate the evolution or change of things is all ego. Not only is it all ego, it's irrational. It's totally irrational to assume that I know how things should be. And what's so wild is that if you consider the notion that every single experience that you're aware of, whether it's your internal space or external space, is divine, and that divinity is expressing itself or being made aware of itself through your awareness of it, then the notion that you need to do something, that you must do this or you must do that, disappears. Because divinity is what's taking place. You don't have to make it one more or less than what it is. It's just the act of participating with it. I spent a couple days thinking about this stanza, and I kind of at first I didn't really like it. 8 million gods. Well, what does that mean? But playing it out kind of makes me like it a little bit more. King, out.